Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
Tracy, or a.k.a. Yoshi.
Yes, Yoshi, thank you so much for joining us in studio today. We are going to have a video episode for this as well, so be sure to check out our YouTube channel. If you are on our website, which you should be, popculturepodcast.com, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, as well as betonline.ag. Our latest blog is up. Yoshi was gracious enough to send us some amazing pictures of her collection of video game consoles and video games. Lots of throwbacks in there, lots of classics. For those of you familiar to Greensboro, it's almost like walking into your own Lost and Found, which I know that's kind of what you were going for. So we're going to, talk to her just how she got into collecting, some of her favorites, some holy grails, and, just go from there. So, Yoshi, what got you into collecting a lot of these classics that, so many of us here that are part of the show, as well as fans out there that are just, grew up with and just absolutely love?
I just wanted to honestly collect that stuff to recapture that feeling of that. I just grew up in arcades. My dad would take me to arcades, and whether it was going to the bowling alley to go to the arcade, we wouldn't even bowl. Go to putt-putt, we didn't golf, we went to the arcade. Yeah. So with that, I had that experience. And then growing up, they always had Sega Genesis and Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And then it just kind of grew from there. It really just comes from my dad because he collects toys, action figures, games, all that stuff. And awesome. I kind of did the same. And then working at Boxcar at an arcade, it's what I wanted in my house. Yeah.
So you really do have it 24/7, 365. You work in a bar arcade, which is always, to me, the greatest idea ever.
I know, right?
And then now you have it in your house. So you said that your dad was into collecting as well. What are some of the things in his collection that just, kind of inspired you to start your own collection?
Well, he has an entire basement, and he almost has it, and it's almost like walking into like KB Toys. Okay. It's like walking into a toy store, and there's so much random things. I mean, from like physical, like a foosball table to like a whole wall of Batman and a whole wall of Spider-Man, then whole like horror section. And he would take me to the toy show at the Greensboro Coliseum, and then just watching him collect stuff, it made me want to do that. But he told me too a long time ago, if you take care of your stuff, you'll always have it. Yeah. And it just, simply just having that stuff is because you like it. Yeah. And that's the same reason I collect stuff now. I just like it.
Love it. Yeah. You're not trying to like flip it or anything like that. You just want it as part of your personal collection.
Exactly.
And I respect the hell out of that. And as a dad myself, my daughter will be 21 this year. We've gone to many a Comic-Con. We've gone to many a toy show. So we both collect a lot of Funko Pops, and I just like collecting everything pop culture. But this episode's not about me. This is about you.
It's so fun, though. It's so fun. Like, just finding things. That's the fun of it. You never know. And then when you see stuff that you haven't seen in years, it's like, oh, my God, I had that. And I can't help but want to have it again. So.
Even though football's almost over, betonline.ag remains your number one spot in 2022 with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. It's a new year with a new updated desktop and mobile website. So sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and the UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, it's where the game starts.
So when you started your collection, I guess what were the first, what you would consider like quintessential pieces of your ongoing collection that you have?
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. That's where it started, because I took my parents' old Super Nintendo and I had bought a Sega Genesis, and I had a few games straggling around, but that's where it started. And then from there, it just got to the point I was like, I want to have a GameCube. I want to have this and that. I started just collecting different systems, even ones that came out before my time. I want an Atari. Yeah. All that stuff just, going in the Lost Ark. So I kind of built it from that.
There you go. Big shout out to Lost Ark. If you're ever in the Greensboro area, be sure to check them out. Right there on Spring Garden, right across the street from our good friends over at Corner Bar. So pertaining to your collection now, what was maybe your first piece where you were like, holy crap, like I'm so glad to have this in my collection?
Something that it's a little later on is my Nintendo 64, and I have Mario Party 3.
Okay.
Me and my cousins used to play all the time, and I have it in a box, and that was the first time I was like, oh my God, this is cool, because it just, I haven't had it in years.
Yeah.
So that, and then honestly, when I started getting the Power Glove and the Rob the Robot, that's what made me want to collect. I was like, I like these.
Those were two of the biggest ones for sure that I saw in your collection that I was just like, wow. Because especially growing up when I was a kid, I've always been late to the game. Yeah, don't get me wrong, very fortunate upbringing. We just didn't have a lot of money, so it took a while to get Nintendo and all that, but never was able to afford Rob the Robot or the Power Glove.
Oh yeah, me neither.
And I mean, even seeing the Power Glove in your collection, like it looks in really, really good condition.
Yeah.
Did it come like that, or did you get it cleaned up?
No, it came like that, and it works. I got it from Lost Ark, but it worked. So does the Rob the Robot. It came with all the pieces.
Yeah.
There was no discoloration to it.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked. I was like, because it's hard to find any that are in good shape, or that's not like so much money you just can't afford it. I'm not paying $1,000 for a robot, but you know,
no offense, Rob the Robot.
but I love you, but
I guess it's kind of two-part question. In regards to the Mario games, which one's your favorite Mario? In regards to the Yoshi standalone games, which one's your favorite Yoshi game?
Well, I still got to say Super Mario World. Out of all the Mario games, there's some good ones, but that one is just, I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
It's just got that right element of just everything you need in a Mario game.
Yep.
And then Yoshi's Island. I don't like the Yoshi's Woolly World and all those so much. They're okay, but Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo, it's my favorite still.
And then in between, to kind of focus a little bit on the Sega Genesis, I'm glad you brought that up. That was really the next tier, especially with Sonic coming out. What are some of your favorite Sega Genesis games?
Oh, I love Streets of Rage.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3.
All right.
Oh, my goodness. Also, Sonic itself. My favorite one, Sonic 2. That's the first game I remember, like, playing the most, and the first game I ever beat my whole life. But it was cool too, because Sonic 1, didn't have Tails, and when Tails came out, you could do a lot more with that, and then so on and so on. But I like that first generation of Sonic too.
There you go.
So those two stick out in my mind. And then there was other ones that were for Super Nintendo and Genesis, but I played Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
Cool Spot. I like those games. Toe Jam and Earl was fun. I also like that. But Sonic and Streets of Rage, my two favorite.
Love it. The double S's right there. Yes. Sonic and Streets of Rage. I think one of mine, because I believe it came with my Sega Genesis, is probably Altered Beast.
Oh yeah.
Love that one. It wasn't the easiest game
either.
It's
not.
I'm sure it's still not.
It's still not.
And Ninja Gaiden, that one just... Oh, goodness gracious. So tough. And then going back to, because you also have the PlayStations, you got 1, 2, you got 1 through 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, just in regards to maybe some of your favorite PlayStation games, I know you said Grand Theft Auto was up there.
Yeah.
And then which one was that? Was that 3 or Vice City? Or
Vice City. Yeah. I played it kind of backwards. I played Vice City first.
Okay.
And then I did 3, and then San Andreas was later. And then as far as like the first like PlayStation generation.
Yeah.
Gex Enter the Gecko was my favorite game. So that was on there. I played Driver a lot.
Oh, such a great game.
I loved it.
Such a great game. Oh, you gotta get some rings there for that one. It's a very underrated game.
It is.
And it's fantastic. It's only because it got overshadowed by Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. That was my Grand Theft Auto before. I loved it. You could ride around, and the second one was cool. You could get out the car. And to me, that was a big deal. Like, oh my goodness.
Right.
But I own both of those today. I still,
Want to make some money? How about you invested in an exciting asset that's outpaced the S&P 500 by 164% for 25 years? I'm talking about ART. Masterworks is the new investing app that lets you invest in blue chip paintings from icons like Picasso, Monet, and Warhol without needing millions. Over 300,000 people have already signed up. Get priority access with our unique promo. Log on to masterworks.art/believe.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Love it.
I think in regards to PlayStation 2, one of my favorite games, and still to this day, one of the scariest games I ever played. Have you ever played Manhunt?
I have not.
It is freaky. Talk to your boys over at Lost Ark. It is, I'm not even going to lie, to this day, that game terrifies me. You're just this guy that's part of this sick experiment. You're released from jail, but you have to, it's almost like, you know, the movie The Warriors?
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's just you. And you go up against all these gangs and you have to hide, and you start off small with, and it's like demented. You start off small with like wires and plastic bags to suffocate people and kill them. Then you have to hide them too.
Oh, God.
So it's got that Assassin's Creed element. It's like a really, really messed up Assassin's Creed with a lot of violence. And Brian Cox, the actor, a lot of people may know as he's like the commanding officer in Super Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
Just a great voice. He's the villain in, like, you don't really see him in the game, but you hear him, and it's creepy. They came out with a part 2, not as good, but Manhunt for the PlayStation 2. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I've played some crazy, like the Punisher game was out there, and I've done all the Resident Evil and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I like that kind of stuff.
So in regards to adding to the collection, what are some holy grails out there that you would just love to one day have in there? Let's just say you hit the lotto tomorrow, or you got all the crypto coins in the world. What are some things you would add if money was not an object?
Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
For sure, because the games are so expensive. And I have a GameCube, but it's just the fact that the games for it, they're very expensive. Very, very. They just went up in value. I do not know why.
Really?
I want those. And oddly, it's not totally video game, but it can be. I also want like an Apple II computer, just to play video games on the little screen, stuff like that. Yeah, Commodore 64, all that weird old computer stuff that I see like on people's Instagrams. Yeah, looks neat when they're playing Streets of Rage on a computer like that, and I was like, oh, that's fascinating, and it looks cool.
There you go.
Love the way it looks.
Nice. Mine would probably be, because to me this was like, there's broke middle class, which is where I was growing up. Then there's, upper middle class. Then there was rich and the super duper rich kids, which we didn't have that many in upstate New York, especially where I'm from in Johnson City. Big shout out to Johnson City, New York. I think there was maybe one kid in the entire area that had the Neo Geo. And that was like, you are rich if you had that.
Sure.
Because even then it was like $600.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I seen it at Lost Art, but it's still expensive. Still expensive.
Yeah, because they didn't make that many, and it was expensive then. And now I'm sure it's twice as much too. And I actually had no idea that the Dreamcast was that much.
It is. Well, the system itself, you can probably get pretty cheap. I mean, maybe under 100 or at 100, but the games for it, it's just like Sega CD. I have the add-ons for that. I also want the 32X is something I don't have for the Sega, but all those add-ons, I think because they didn't do so well then, the value of it now is just up there.
Now you really got to dig and collect and get your Indiana Jones on
pretty much,
when it comes to finding it.
You don't come across it either. I see, like, you can find Super Nintendo games easily, but you can't always find the Sega CD game or something in good condition from that. Just nobody has it like that.
Right.
So it's pretty neat.
All right. And then so, besides just the video game collecting, in regards to pop culture, because obviously we'd love to have you back on some more. Yeah. What are some, other things that you're into as far as movies, entertainment, music, TV, things that you're just super passionate about?
I am really into toy collecting too. From mostly decades before me. I was born in the end of the 80s, but I like to collect that kind of era stuff and 70s stuff. Honestly, it's just pretty much 60s through the 90s. Anything in that era with movies, music, clothes. I like to collect vintage clothes. I've been buying albums lately. Just stuff like that. Just little knickknacks, Polly Pockets. Just stuff to display. That's what I'm into. Okay. So I'm just like a total toy geek too.
Love it. You're welcome to the club. Now, without saying a price, what would you consider, as far as in your collection, what do you think you've spent the most money on, and on one like individual thing?
I almost want to say it's between either my Rob the Robot.
Okay. I can see that.
Or my Mario Party 3. Only because it's in the box and it's got original plastic on the outside still.
Gotcha.
And those boxes cost so much money.
Yeah.
If you look online, they go for way too much money, but
yeah. So just the boxes by themselves, not even with the game. Holy crap.
You can buy the game for $70 by itself, but if you have the box, it goes from like $70 to $300, and it's crazy. And that game is worth about over $300.
Goodness,
I know.
Goodness.
Crazy.
We are not giving out your address.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's more important than peace of mind? Nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you are online. And with all of the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, and plans start at under $4 a month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe. And that's believe spelled BLEAV. So we are going to do a little segment that we're going to start this year on Zero Dark Nerdy called This or That. We've done it on our social media. Be sure to check it out. Zero Dark Nerdy, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over the place, TikTok, where you literally got to do this or that. You know, you have to pick one or the other. So, Yoshi, you're going to be the first. You're going to be the trial run.
Yay.
Trial run for this. So, you know, we'll cue the music here. So you will have 30 seconds.
All right.
And I'm going to go down a list, and I'm going to give you two things each time. And then you literally have to pick one out of those two things.
All right.
So let me get the music here. I like our new trivia music.
Neat.
All right, perfect. Here we go. All right, we'll get rid of that. All right, 30 seconds starts now.
Okay.
All right, Deadpool or Wolverine?
Deadpool.
Okay. Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Twizzler.
Okay. Street Fighter or Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage.
I knew you were going to pick that after saying it earlier.
I love it.
All right, here's one. Very similar game, but two different items. Tapper or Burger Time?
Burger Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Beatles or AC/DC?
The Beatles.
Okay, excellent. I might have to get a longer clock for that. 30 seconds goes by quick.
Yeah.
But at least we got some in there. Before we wrap up with you, Yoshi, again, make sure everybody check out the website, popculturepodcast.com, to see the amazing images of her collection. We will be showing this video of the podcast as well on our YouTube channel. You know, tell people how they can find you, in regards to social media and things like that.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Yoshi Arcade. There's no crazy stuff, just Yoshi and Arcade. And with that, you can find my personal page, and I post random stuff on my personal page. And then on Yoshi Arcade, I update it every day and just kind of post the details of my collection, like video games individually, collections together, and it's basically just where it can grow.
There you go. Be sure to check her out. Follow her on social media. I know she's going to be back here on the show.
Heck yeah.
We got a ton of stuff coming for you this year. Hopefully when things calm down out there in the world and we can all get together without all these restrictions. We are missing the events. Be sure to, check out Boxcar. Good friends of ours. Lots of events over there. Great drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Arcade. The pizza's money. Yep. So big ups to Boxcar. Big ups to our sponsors. betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs, as well as our partners over at the Believe Podcast Network. You can check out us as well as their amazing slate of shows, and that is Believe, BLEAV.com. On behalf of everybody at Zero Dark Nerdy, this is El Nino, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. To start your free trial of Sirius XM today, visit SiriusXM.com/believe.